question for everybody. Does body count matter? Starting with you.
I wouldn't say body count, but hygiene matters, like, more than body count. Like
Hygiene?
Yeah.
Hygiene's important.
Because honestly, like, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay, if you've had sex with like 7 girls versus 15 girls, is that 7 people really that many people in terms of my insecurities and anxiety? And the answer is no. But what I am concerned about is my health and safety. And so if I'm okay with those things, then it's okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to reframe the question. Because I think women also can care, some women do care about male promiscuity or male's body count, but I do think this typically stems more so from men's preferences, and I do think men tend to be a bit more vocal about wanting
Body
this.
count. Yeah.
So do you object to men caring about body count? Do you think it's, why should you care, it's insecure, or what's your...
I think that if you're like in a situation like you are, I think you should absolutely care because you are prioritizing that factor in your life as well. But I think that if you're not a virgin, then you absolutely like do not have the right to care. And
you don't have the rights.
You don't have the right to care. Like, I'm sorry, like, unless if you're putting it up there as your biggest priority to maintain that in your life, then people lie, right? Like, okay, if it makes you feel better, if I've only had sex with 3 guys in my life, yes, I've only had sex with 3 guys in my whole life. I'm not, it's one of those things where I think people just lie. Yeah.
Well, does anybody here agree with what she just said, that sure, if you're Mason over here, who's also a virgin, then you're totally entitled to want that in a partner. But if you aren't a virgin, or you maybe have had a handful or perhaps plenty of sexual partners, that's hypocritical or a double standard, or you should not have that preference for wanting a woman with a low body count or who's a virgin. Does anybody agree with that?
I feel like I agree to some extent, more of like, if for instance, if their body count's 50 or 60, but the girl's 30, the guy's 50, the girl's 60, and he's like, I don't know about that one. It's like, dude, you can't talk on that. It should be equal. That's where I agree on that. The whole miles on a car. We're not cars. We're not diners. Let's not do that, please. We're humans. It's not like our vaginas get looser over the time. No, we can actually make it tighter.
In terms of the car thing, I think people use analogies frequently. I'm sure you're familiar with what analogies are, right?
No, I'm a complete idiot.
No, I'm not trying to be condescending, but
I'm just being a smart ass.
No, but like an analogy is it's a comparison between two things, typically for the purpose of explanation or clarification. So if a guy uses some car reference or something, he's not like doing that to be like, women suck, I'm comparing you to a car. It's a common rhetorical tool used to better clarify or explain your position.
Absolutely. But doesn't it kind of make you think that if a car has been run down to 250 miles, you should either trade it in and get a new one or get rid of it? Isn't that isn't that as a person you think of that when you have a car? That's a logical thought. That's what we're taught to do.
I personally don't use a car comparison typically in this
exactly, but a lot of people do. So my point of that is like when a car hits a certain peak, get rid of it. That's not fair. We wouldn't do that to a man. We are always supportive. Most of us. Not me. I wouldn't do that to a man. How about that? For me.
Butler donated $100.
Here we go.
Okay, more herpes.
To 12 partners who have
Oh my God, Jay Butler, get this guy. He's obsessed.
Matters.
Yeah.
This is why being a sex worker is filthy. For fat-faced Sally, what side effects has the Valtrex given you?
Sweetheart, if you want me this bad, email me, KendraLeeRyan@protonmail.com. I promise I'll fulfill all your sadistic needs.
She'll dom you, Butler.
Yes, you clearly need it. You keep fucking talking to me.
He's a urologist.
Oh, I have a spectrum I don't want to be
rude or anything.
They're the freakiest people I've ever met.
Him as a doctor,
Don't worry, he only sees penises. Because he's a urologist.
It doesn't matter. You as a doctor shouldn't be talking like that.
Especially
Yeah,
to
that's
a
really
woman,
unprofessional.
like-
He's very
yeah.
Listen, he sees a lot of dicks. Let's give him a pass.
I don't think I've
He
heard
sees a
real
lot.
I've seen more
doctors
dicks than
describe
him,
the
and I
human
wouldn't even
body
act
that
like
way
that.
because I
He's-
don't think they think
I'm
about
just
the
saying,
human body the
it's-
same way.
Listen, we all need to blow off steam in our own
is
ways.
true.
I don't think doctors get this
It's okay,
triggered by the
he's-
human body.
Yeah, but he's in his mom's
I
basement.
think-
He's-
I
he's not a real
think,
doctor.
though,
That's
I
the
think
answer.
I think we're over.
he plays
I-
operation. He's a doctor.
I think
I
we're
hate to say
overthinking.
this, girls, but like the
overthinking
thing is, like you do risk a lot more to have, you know, stuff like that when you have a large body count. It's just what it is.
I mean, I have never, so let me
Yeah.
put this on the table. I have never, and I know you guys won't believe this either, but I have the test to prove it. I've never had an STD in this industry since turning 18. I had STDs in high school with boyfriends that lied to me and cheated on me. So I have never been exposed
Because you've
nor
been more
had one.
responsible, but I'm saying like
Yep.
a lot of the times, like
Absolutely.
you're at more of a risk
And
to
more
get
people,
something.
like civilian people that are not in sex work, do not get tested after each partner. And from what I found out, they get tested twice a year with God knows how many
Sure.
partners.
So I'll address your point. So you were saying that.
What I
well-
want to know is like, does this wait? Go. Sorry.
Well, no, you were saying that, well, it's okay if Mason over here wants a woman who's a virgin, but a guy who's not a virgin, or even a guy who maybe is promiscuous himself or has a promiscuous past, he doesn't have, I think you said, shouldn't have the right to have that preference.
I mean, he has the right,
well, he
but
has the
I don't
right, but
really care what he
You
says.
object. You object
I don't.
to it.
You have the right to believe whatever you want. I really only value your opinion on that versus,
Well-
you know what I mean. So all from me.
Well,
personally,
okay, so
yeah.
so I mean, my response to that is, in order for you to desire something in a partner, must you also possess said characteristic or trait?
So here's the thing. I think that there's a yin and yang, and there's like a same type energy that you have with people. Like there's a certain connection where you have where something's the same. You know what I mean? You bond over that thing being the same, and you feel camaraderie over it being the same. Then there's a different kind of a connection that you experience with somebody when they show you something that you're just incapable of doing for yourself. You know what I mean? And you're just like, wow, that is totally outside of the wheelhouse of what I know how to do. And that's a very different kind of respect when you witness someone doing something that you know inside you can't do. And then it's like, wow, like that's partnership energy if you like it.
Right,
You know what
but-
I mean?
okay,
But maybe
but-
you don't like, it's like,
But to address your statement that you made about how, okay, well, if you're a guy and maybe you've had some fun in your youth, maybe your body count's up there, that immediately precludes you from wanting a woman who's not promiscuous or who has a low body count or who's a virgin. I would argue that there are plenty of things that both men and women want in partners that they themselves do not possess. For example, a woman who is broke, she's not wrong for finding a billionaire attractive. Even though she's not a billionaire herself, it doesn't make her
Wrong,
for finding
I don't think
billionaires
it's
attractive.
wrong. It's more that just like if someone said that, I'd be like, yeah, have fun with that opinion. You know what I mean? Like I don't respect it,
Well, it's
but
not
you're
clear-
allowed to have it.
it's
You know
not
what I
clear-
mean?
well,
Like I'm
sure.
just stating my perception.
Well, okay,
which
here's
isn't
an-
someone else's opinion.
Here's another example. Short women liking tall men. You need not be a tall woman to find tall men attractive. So in that way, a man who perhaps has a promiscuous past, he has a high body count, I think he's perfectly fine if he wants to date a woman with a low body count or who's a virgin. I
There's
think that's
also
fine.
the side note or the opposite where you have virgins who are, I'm sure there's virgins that are interested in super promiscuous women, right? And it's like wild card. It's like, really? Are you sure you
Could, yeah,
want that?
could be.
Like
sure.
I think that there's
Sure.
something for everybody, right? But I think that we're kind of beyond the phase of like measuring which thing is the most popular life choice for people because clearly people
I
are
don't
like,
know, I think
have
men-
such divvying.
Men
Here, let's-
men are not very. I think men will never be accepting of a high body count for the most part because they're just so like that's my.
What's
woman.
your body count, babe?
Hold on.
My body count.
Yeah.
Hold on. So
I've always been in a relationship, so I don't. I'm
You have a low
not-
body count, right?
Yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
not. I don't do one night stands. Like I've
That's
always
good.
been in a relationship.
That's good.
Meow. Okay, Cat 5. Sorry, I'm trying to. Let me give you. No. I wasn't searching for your name. I was thinking of what the prompt was for the question.
Oh,
Okay, so
body
we're going
count,
around the
body
table.
count.
Do you object to men caring about women's body count?
Do I object to men's caring about?
Yeah. Do you think it's like a lame preference, or it's like they're insecure? Or like, why? Who cares? You know.
I think everybody has a right to care about their own opinion with things, obviously.
Okay.
So,
Sure.
I mean-
sure. We can all agree that everybody's entitled to their preferences, but do you object to the preference?
no.
Okay. What about you?
Wait,
I can
Oh.
speak.
I didn't get to say so.
Oh, you didn't answer. I thought.
We didn't
yeah.
answer either.
Oh, you didn't answer
Yeah.
either. I thought. Okay, sorry. I didn't mean to skip over.
Yeah.
Okay, you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
You're fine.
It does matter. I think it does matter, not so much for the male. This is specific. Wait. Am I answering the prompt right? What are we answering?
Oh, do you object to men
The-
caring about
yeah.
a woman's body count?
Oh, okay. Well, the answer that or the question that I was answering to was like, does it matter? But I understand why it would matter, just because from hearing a lot of women and working with women who have a high body count, they come with me like in tears and sobbing because they have a lot of like past trauma with other men. So, and they've told me before that the men that they're with don't want to work through that with them and unravel that. So I absolutely understand why men would want to be with a woman with a low body count, because it's, in my opinion, I think that each body is like,
I'm sorry.
it's,
guys.
each body
Birth
is like,
control alarm
it's
went off.
No, let's
baggage.
go to sleep alarm.
So
actually.
I do think that, I mean, it would be fair, but they also can't shame or judge women for it. They can have that preference, but they shouldn't shame and judge. And I think that that's what we're seeing, a lot of shame and judging.
Okay.
I personally object to it. Obviously, I would, because I don't care about yours. So if you care, and again, I object for my own reasons, and these are people I would be pursuing. So I'm gonna object to your judgment of me, because why the fuck would I date you anyways? If you're just talking about average man, that's your prerogative, enjoy it. But also, I like a man who's experienced. I don't like men who haven't been around. I like promiscuous people. That's what I like. That's what works for me. And for the record, I have never had an actual bad relationship. Every man has been willing to work through all of my trauma, all of my issues, all of my body numbers. It hasn't been an issue, but you have to put the work in on both sides. That's what it really is. Yeah, so it's gonna be a lot harder, but I'm also very fucking picky too. So I'm not gonna let my standards go down just because of my job and my body count.
Okay. What about you?
Well, I can tell you from my husband's view. My husband has a high body count, and he told me that straight off the bat.
What's his body count?
Over 200.
Okay.
But he asked me my body count, and it matters to him. And I don't have a high body count, and I told him, and he was like, okay, cool. And I asked him, like, why does it matter to you? And he was just like, I just want a no, because it's a kind of trust thing, you know? And he also wants to know if I'm promiscuous or not, or if I have any diseases, or if I'm actually going to be in a long-term relationship. I think that's more important, because he was like, you know, if you're somebody that jumps around, that means you're kind of not ready to settle down or have a long-term relationship. And he wants to be in a relationship. He's not interested in this and that. He has had a very few long-term relationships, only 2 actually.
Well, so the question is, do you object to men?
I don't
generally speaking?
object it, because I understand where they're coming from.
Sure.
Because I'm a person, when I ask somebody, hey, have you done this or have you done that? It comes from a place of trust, and I kind of want to know, can I trust you? Will you hurt me? Will you jump around, and will you find somebody else that you want to be with?
When you said the body count, I thought we will be talking about medical term and like fat and thin people, because like English not my first language. But then I understood like what you're talking about.
Yeah.
From my personal perspective, I cannot objectify, but I do think for girls it matters, because for me personally, every single connection you make is like a spiritual connection and emotional connection, and for my husband it matters. But I also like respect other opinions and other people, and I cannot like put a line like, hey, like it's matter for everyone or it doesn't matter for everyone.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why men don't want a woman with a high body count, and I'm not judging it. I'm not saying it because of that, but I do know that like 95% of men care, and I think it's more of like, just men don't want to imagine. I think like, and this happens a lot. Like, women can forgive cheating, men can't, right? Like it's just something it's just what it is.
I can't.